On January 16th, Pierce Township's working session of council featured a discussion of the Beckjord closing plan. Beckjord site consists of 4 large ash ponds, A, B, C, and C extension. What was revealed in the meeting is that Ash Pond A will be relocated and added into Ash Pond C and Ash Pond C extension. There's no plan yet for Ash Pond B. No actual ash at this point will be removed from the site. There's been a long history of communications around this effort. On October 1, 2015, Duke sent a letter to residents speaking about ash pond closures and their commitment to protecting groundwater, ensuring ash is safe from extreme weather events such as floods and earthquakes, and minimizing community environmental impacts as much as possible. Now remember, we're going to learn in this video that all the ash from Pond A is going to be simply relocated to Pond C and C extension, which are the closest ponds to the river. This is a similar communication from Duke to residents about the ash pond closure on April 1, 2016. The county was consistently sending communications to Duke and demanding answers, as in this letter from June 1, 2016. The excerpt speaks of the county's need to see a Duke plan to remove coal ash waste from the existing impoundments A and B and dispose of the waste in an appropriate permitted landfill. Now remember, the actual plan you're going to see in the video that follows is to simply move Pond A to Pond C. Pond B and what happens to it has not yet been determined. On June 27, 2016, WCPO released a story in which the county again was talking about the need to have ash removed from at least the 2 ash ponds on the site known as Pond A and Pond B. Remember, we're going to again learn in the video that Pond A will simply be relocated to Pond C and Pond B is still not determined. This is an excerpt from a letter from June 21, 2017 from the county to Duke, expressing concerns with 10 million tons of coal ash that is being stored in leaking and potentially unstable earthen-brimmed impoundments, and that the risks are immediate and obvious. This is an excerpt from that same letter that again is talking about the mammoth surface impoundments and the direct threat they pose to the public water system. This is an excerpt from a note that Duke sent to Cincinnati on November 7, 2016, particularly Councilmember Amy Murray. It talks about their desire to, instead of removing ash, cap the ponds because it would take too long. In this note, they say 13 to 15 years to remove ash. As late as January 11, 2018, just about 6 weeks before the site changed hands from Duke to a company called Commercial Liability Partners, CLP, the county again sent a letter demanding a closure plan and being concerned that whatever was going to happen would be grossly insufficient and not protective of the residents of the county and the environment. Then comes February 26, 2018, in which Duke sells the Beckjord site to Commercial Liability Partners and simultaneously gives $750,000 to a charity none of us have ever heard of before called Connect Claremont. Connect Claremont is a charity dominated by political insiders in Claremont County. When the news story came out on February 26th of the sale, the story featured no one from Duke, no one from the EPA, no one from the county, or no one from the purchaser, Commercial Liability Partners, instead featuring Bob Paltke speaking on behalf of Connect Claremont, Adam Bird, New Richmond School Superintendent, and Alan Freeman, Pierce Township Trustee. The first update I saw in nearly 8 months was a reference in New Richmond Council minutes to EPA monitoring of groundwater and that the plan was to cap and close the ash ponds, not to relocate or remove any ash. That brings us to January 16, 2019, where Pierce Township in a trustee work session had a presentation by Commercial Liability Partners. You can see the meeting notice here. There was no reference to there going to be an update on Beckjord from Commercial Liability Partners. Fortunately, however, some video was taken of the meeting by Pierce Township, and what follows is excerpts from that video that I think you'll find interesting, talking about the ash pond enclosures.
We're hoping to develop as much as 300 acres of industrial property, and we're going to talk some more tomorrow with a new developer that we've got on board with us. Alan's going to come to the meeting, and Claremont County's coming. They've been very helpful, helping us attract development partners that will invest in the community and help us with the actual development of attracting new industry, new tax base. Here, there's 4 major ash ponds on the front side of the property. There's A pond, B pond, C pond, and C extension. And we prepared plans, preliminary plans, we presented those to the Ohio EPA. And we have conceptual buy-in on a remedial plan, but now we have to do the detailed science.
We do a conceptual design. There is capacity in ponds C and CX for ash. We're hoping to relocate pond A. Pond A is going to be taken out of commission entirely. It's going to be clean closed. That material will be relocated within C and CX. We've met with OEPA, we've met with ODNR regarding how we would do this. They've given us a path forward to secure once pond C and CX are brought to grade, basically to the top of the berms. There will be a cap system put over top of it. The purpose of the cap is to minimize surface water infiltration into the ponds and thereby decrease flow through the ash. I would expect somewhere in the next 3 months to be in a position to start moving ash from pond A to C and CX. I would speculate based on typical production rates that it's probably going to be on the order of a 2-year process to completely remove pond A. The capping of these other 2 ponds, which we'll do after that ash is relocated, possibly 1 to 2 years time. As we finish all the ponds, you're probably into this project on the order of 4 to 5 years.
I understand the cap concept, but how are you going to prevent leaching into the river or in the existing aquifers from underneath?
My question? Okay. I'm not the groundwater guy, but we have folks that are doing it. Currently, we're performing groundwater monitoring program. Duke was doing it for a considerable period of time.
Monitoring to make sure that it doesn't eventually get to the aquifer. But there's nothing proactive to prevent it.
That's incorrect. So there is no impacts to the river currently through the current monitoring program, but we're putting these very expensive clay caps per Ohio EPA regulations on top of the ash ponds. Okay, so no water can infiltrate and then leach into any groundwater at all. So the systems are going in, we're removing the areas that we think are problematic, and that's clean closing. All of the ash is coming out of pond A. Right? Pond B, we're working on a closure strategy for that right now with Ohio EPA. And these 2 ponds will be capped in a manner there would be no impact on groundwater.
How deep do you have to dig on pond A? How far down are you going?
Well, I'm going to call it a bit of a guesstimate because the maps we have are very old. Right. And at this point in time, we might think on the average 30 feet. Some areas may be as shallow as 18, some as deep as possibly closer to 40. But we frankly don't know exactly where the bottom is. We have certain borings that give us pinpoint depths, but over 40 acres, we're not sure how much undulation will be in the native soil.
How close do you have to dig to the Ohio River?
You're a pretty good distance back.
It's pretty good distance back. In this berm, it won't be a
Each pond needs to be treated differently. One, because of the age, 2, and the location to the Ohio River. Now, you're saying that there's not going to be impact from the Ohio River, but in 97 flood, they had to do repairs on C pond because of the water. How do you answer that?
That's before our time. We can't answer historical issues. We're just trying to.
I know.
We look at what's there today, and we're working on a plan to make sure it's safe for the.
Well, the only way to make that safe would be to remove the ash from C pond and C extension.
That's not actually true. We're
Maybe
going
it would be practical.
to.
millions of dollars.
I don't
Over at Williamsburg, and I'm afraid by not doing something with the two ponds that are next to the river, we're gonna end up with the same problem at some point in time.
We understand your concern, and we'll do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen. We feel confident we can get there.
But Chuck, he did kind of get to your point, which is each of those ponds had to be treated differently. And so, they're working on a strategy for Pond A, they're working on a strategy for Pond B, and so on. And this will all be vetted through the public with additional public meetings. So you'll have an opportunity to see that.
Just to add real quick, just on kind of what you're talking about. We had a previous meeting, and I found it interesting a little bit that you guys are almost purely incentivized to get this project done safely to the regulations and cleaned up. I mean, you don't really have an incentive in regards to trying to cut corners or cut labor or anything like that. And I think that's kind of important to look at a little bit, because that shows what really you're in it for and what you're
But
incentivized.
I think we're just at such an early phase that we can't really, right, I mean, we could theoretically say that it's anywhere from 100 jobs to, 500 jobs, we just don't know. And we need to know the nature of those jobs. So what would be the salary range of the people that would be coming? That's why, as I point out, we talk about advanced manufacturing, small footprint, and you end up having higher paid jobs. Great story. These guys have sat, right now Ron's like, oh my God, he's going into a sales pitch again. It's what a great story you'd be able to tell, a 1950s technology that's being removed and replaced with 21st century jobs. So, that would be a great story for this region to be
We do
able
have
to
a
tell.
site-specific webpage, and the development